Aisha's heart pounded in her chest as she walked through the dusty Fulani village, her feet dragging against the sand. At just 13, she had been sold into marriage, a fate many girls her age in northern Nigeria shared. Her father had accepted the bride price from Usman, a wealthy cattle merchant. To him, it was the best choice for his family. But to Aisha, it was a prison. Usman was 45, with a reputation that cast a long shadow over the village. His eyes were as cold as the northern winds, and his hands, rough from years of labor, were not softened by kindness. He had been married 3 times before, all to young brides. And yet, all of them had vanished, gone without a trace. Tonight was Aisha's wedding night, but fear coursed through her veins like poison. She sat in the small hut, draped in her bridal attire, the scent of incense heavy in the air. The room was dimly lit by a single flickering lantern. Outside, the village was quiet, the sounds of the festivities having faded into the desert night. Aisha had been quiet all evening, her mind racing. She knew that no one would come to her aid. Her mother had wept earlier but had said nothing, bound by tradition. Her father had spoken little, unable to look her in the eyes. She was alone. But not helpless. For weeks, Aisha had been listening, learning. There were rumors among the village women, tales of an old healer who lived on the outskirts, a woman known for her wisdom, her power, and her deep connection to the spirits. Some said she had helped girls like Aisha before. As Usman prepared for their night together, Aisha's heart steadied. She knew she couldn't live in this nightmare. She had one chance. With quick, silent steps, she grabbed the small vial the healer had given her, hidden beneath the folds of her dress. The liquid inside shimmered like silver under the moonlight. It wasn't poison, it was something far more powerful. A protective charm, something that could give her the courage and strength to face the unimaginable. When Usman entered the room, his eyes gleamed with a sick satisfaction. He approached her, his footsteps heavy on the dirt floor. "You are mine now," he whispered, reaching for her. Aisha stood tall, her small frame unmoving. Without hesitation, she threw the vial at his feet. The glass shattered, and the silver liquid splattered across the ground. The room seemed to hum, a strange energy filling the air. Usman froze, his hands suspended in the air as though an invisible force had seized him. His eyes widened in terror. What is this?" he stammered. The liquid began to swirl, lifting off the ground and rising into the air like a mist. It surrounded Usman, spinning faster and faster until he was engulfed in a shimmering vortex. His screams filled the room, but Aisha stood, watching with a calm resolve. In moments, Usman was gone. The mist evaporated, and the room was silent once more. Aisha breathed deeply, her heart steady, her fear dissolved. The healer's words echoed in her mind, "The spirits will protect you, child, but you must show them courage." She had, and now she was free. The next morning, the village was in shock. Usman had vanished without a trace. His wealth, his cattle, everything was left behind. No one questioned Aisha, the spirits had spoken. She returned to her family, but this time, she stood tall, knowing her fate was her own to shape. In the days that followed, Aisha visited the healer one last time. The old woman smiled knowingly. "You have found your strength, child." Aisha nodded. She had escaped a dark fate, but more importantly, she had found her power. Beneath the desert moon, she walked freely, her future now bathed in light.